Come on me. Hey, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks lunchtime streaming show, where me, the AV Geek, was eating lunch. I mentioned yesterday that I'd gotten a letter last week from a bunch of kids who watch my show as part of their homeschooling, and it must have been, I don't know if they routinely watch it. You know, if you're out there, comment, because I would love to know. But anyways, they sent me a series of letters and drawings, and this is one where I must have on the show talked about lasagna, how much I like it, because here I am. I have a watch. I don't normally have a watch, but that's great. Here I am coveting lasagna. Then there's another drawing of me. Where is it? I'm looking at a telecine in the upper left-hand corner that is made out of lasagna, but I'm eating a film, and I'm thinking to myself, this lasagna is bland. And they wrote, Skip gets confused. You better believe I got confused if I had a telecine made out of lasagna. Anyways, great drawings, and there's more, so I'll be showcasing more throughout the week. But anyways, we watch old 16mm films. We just don't eat them. We actually watch them too. So we watch them and then I eat them. That first film that we started off with, the silent film, was from the Coronet collection that we are slowly scanning, and what they did is they would shoot stuff for a film, then they would clip it out and make a film out of it, and then whatever was left over, they would build up these stock reels with these 3-letter codes, and so we've been going through a bunch of those, and those are original Kodachrome, so the colors is really quite nice. The quality is beautiful, but there's no soundtrack, there's no narrative, it's just shots of whatever. So, pretty great. Let's learn about plumbing. Maybe that's a job for you. I certainly have thought about telling young people to not worry about going to college, just plumbing. Just go plumbing, because that you'll be rich. All right, enjoy.
Become so common, most of us accept its luxury without ever stopping to think of the work and planning that went into making it possible. Granted, without realizing the effort and skill behind the intricate system of pipes that make up this convenience. Here's the man responsible for this accepted necessity, the plumber. But being a plumber is a lot more than just fitting pipes together. The plumber plays a leading role in helping to safeguard our health, and his knowledge and skill cover many crafts. He must be able first to read blueprints, so as to have a thorough understanding of where each pipe and fixture is to go, and be able to plan his work to coincide with the many other operations going on during any construction. He must be able to operate the various tools and machines used in fashioning his material. Pipes must cut to exact length to meet specific requirements, and much time and energy can be saved by making these cuttings at a bench instead of in the cramped quarters where the actual installation takes place. Threads must also be cut in order to provide a means for joining the various sections. These are cut with a special die designed to give them the necessary depth and taper, and care is used to cut no more threads than are actually needed to ensure a tight fit. Then, when the various sections are cut and threaded, the plumber joins them together with suitable fittings. A coating of joint compound, commonly called dope, is applied to the threads to ensure water tightness. The good plumber knows that however strong the joint may be, it must be watertight. From the main supply line in the basement, the vertical pipes, or risers, lead up through the floor to the kitchen and bathroom. Houses are usually planned with the bathroom directly over the kitchen, so that the same pipes will serve both. Then from the risers, the other sections are fitted into their proper places between the floor joists and wall studding. And here again, the plumber must be a man of care and forethought in his planning, as most of his work is done before the building is far advanced. A plumber who has to tear out a wall for a forgotten pipe will find himself very unpopular. The plumber must also understand sanitary laws and follow them through to the letter, for plumbing is by no means confined to getting water into a building. It is also his job to get it out again. The disposal of waste, called sanitary plumbing, requires careful planning and skillful installation, for it is here that our first line of defense is set up against disease. Cast iron soil pipes are used for this purpose. These are larger and heavier than the incoming supply lines, and their connections are made with overlapping bell joints cast on the end of each section. These joints are sealed by first being caulked with oakum, after which molten lead is poured in around the lip of the pipe to completely seal the connection. The plumber must also be able to join sections of lead pipe in completing certain installations. This is done by fusing the ends together in a sheathing of molten lead to form one continuous pipe of homogeneous metal. Layers of hot lead are successively poured over the connection and are shaped into a smoothly rounded contour. This is known as wiping a joint and calls for considerable dexterity to prevent serious burns. The installation of traps under all fixtures is necessary to prevent sewage gases from coming back up the drain and escaping in the house. The action in the trap is simply that of catching the last part of the wastewater and holding it as a block in the bend or elbow of the pipe. But to make the trap function properly and prevent the last pint of water from siphoning down the drain, one more step is necessary. A vent pipe must be installed to maintain atmospheric pressure in the drain system and thus prevent siphonic action, for if this occurred, the purpose of the trap would be defeated. These vent pipes are extended up through the building to the roof, where the sewer gases may be harmlessly expelled. And here again, the plumber has a chance to show his versatility. Lead fleshing must be made to fit around the upper part of the vent pipe to prevent rain from leaking into the building where the pipe extends up through the roof. The lead sheathing is first formed into a tube by bending it around some convenient object such as a pipe. Then, when the correct size and shape is reached, the overlapping edges are fused together into a neat seam. Ofttimes he must become a mason. Catch basins are required in some localities to catch grease from the kitchen sink and prevent it from entering the sewage system and causing stoppage. This calls for trowel and mortar, and again the plumber's versatility is put into action to provide the right treatment for each situation. After all the pipes are laid, the fixtures are installed. Some must be in place before the walls are finished, such as a bathtub whose contours blend into the walls and floor. Other fixtures may wait until the plastering is done. In such cases, extra care must be used to prevent scratching or otherwise marring the surrounding walls or woodwork. During these finishing touches, the plumber has the satisfaction of viewing with justifiable pride the final results of his skill. And in line with comfortable, efficient living, the laundry tubs have come to be regarded as a necessary part of every home. A well-planned laundry is appreciated by every housewife. Another convenience of the well-planned home is the automatic water heater. It provides an ample supply of hot water for the laundry, kitchen, and bath, which includes the shower. The automatic thermostatic control operates the heater without any attention from the owner. But home installations are by no means the extent of the plumber's realm. Large industrial concerns offer numerous opportunities for his talents. Refineries, such as this, require constant maintenance, as do many other concerns all over the country, such as laundries, food processing plants, and companies requiring extensive use of steam. Electrification of farms will do away with hand pumping, and electric pumps will call upon the plumber's proficiency in the installation of rural water systems. Then, too, there are the jobs offered by municipalities. The huge water mains which interlace our cities require the abilities of the experienced workman. Here, amid cramped surroundings, the plumber must apply the skills of his trade, for on his proficiency depends a whole city for its water and its health. There is always work for a good plumber, whether it be installing a city water main or repairing a leaky faucet. Homes are more numerous than industrial installations, and there are always small repairs awaiting the plumber who has the time to fix them. These home repairs provide a good share of his income. Most men in the trade are journeyman plumbers, employed by a plumbing contractor or master plumber who is licensed by the city and state. This is his badge of state acceptance, which signifies that he has met the minimum legal requirements and is licensed to perform work in his state. Some cities require a local license. The master plumber's work includes the planning, estimating, and supervision of the job. Often he maintains a fixture showroom and employs salesmen to help prospective customers in the selection of equipment for their homes. If you want to become a plumber, in most cities you must start as an apprentice under the supervision of a licensed master plumber. In some cities, the apprentice is required to attend a trade school part-time to add to the practical training he gets on the job. Here he gets instruction as well as actual practice in all phases of the work. He acquires skill in using various tools and learns how to put different materials to their proper use, all under the close supervision of competent instructors. His studies also include mathematics as related to plumbing, to help in figuring pipe sizes and carrying capacities, as well as help in the making of estimates. Errors in estimating are costly and result in loss of profit if too low and customers if too high. When the period of apprenticeship is over and the state and local examinations are passed, the apprentice becomes a journeyman plumber. Then, after a period of time as a journeyman, he becomes eligible for his own license as a master plumber. To go into business for yourself requires more than technical knowledge and mechanical skill. You must have business ability as well, and enough capital for tools, an office, and a truck. But whether you work for yourself or for someone else, it's important to be happy in your job. And this means that it must be the kind of work you enjoy doing. It's a job for a man who likes to work with his hands and isn't afraid of getting them dirty. For such a man, plumbing offers a fine opportunity for making a good living.
So, I mean, if you're a homeowner, and I have two homes, one is the archive, you'll know how hard it is sometimes to get a plumber, to get a good plumber. So I think that we need more plumbers. Less computer programmers, more plumbers. That's my take on it. Although, when I was high school age, there's no way I would be a plumber. Absolutely no way. I'd probably be more of maybe an electrician as well, because that's also a trade that seems like is in high demand. All right, so behind me, I have a telecine, and I have a film set up for you to watch. It is about our friend, the Pokey Little Puppy. Enjoy.
The greatest shows on earth, from the greatest library on earth. And today, for your pleasure, we proudly present the Pokey Little Puppy. The Pokey Little Puppy. Once there were 5 little puppies who dug a hole under a fence and went for a walk in the wide, wide world. And when they got to the top of a hill, they counted themselves.
1, 2, 3, 4.
One little puppy wasn't there.
Now where in the world is that Pokey Little Puppy?
For he certainly wasn't on top of the hill, and he wasn't going down the other side, and he wasn't coming up this side. But there he was, near the bottom of the hill. his nose to the ground.
What is he doing?
So down they went to see what he was doing.
What in the world are you doing?
I smell something.
Then the 4 little puppies began to sniff.
Rice pudding!
And home they went as fast as they could go. There, sure enough, was dinner waiting for them, with rice pudding for dessert. But their mother was greatly displeased.
So you're the little puppies who dig holes under fences. No rice pudding tonight.
And she made them go straight to bed. The poky little puppy came poking home after everyone was sound asleep. He ate up all the rice pudding and crawled into bed happy as a lark. The next morning, someone had filled the hole and put up a sign. The sign said,
Don't ever dig holes under this fence.
but the 5 little puppies dug a hole under the fence just the same and went for a walk in the wide, wide world. When they got to the top of the hill, they counted themselves.
1, 2, 3, 4.
One little puppy wasn't there,
Now where in the world is that poky little puppy?
for he certainly wasn't on top of the hill. He wasn't going down the other side. He wasn't coming up this side. But there he was, near the bottom of the hill, sitting still as a stone.
What is he doing?
So down they went to see what he was doing.
What in the world are you doing?
I hear something.
The 4 little puppies listened.
Chocolate custard! Someone is spooning it into our bowl!
And home they went as fast as they could go. There, sure enough, was dinner waiting for them, with chocolate custard for dessert. But their mother was greatly displeased.
So you're the little puppies who dig holes under fences. No chocolate custard tonight.
And she made them go straight to bed. But the poky little puppy came poking home after everyone else was sound asleep. He ate up all the chocolate custard and crawled into bed as happy as a lark. The next morning, someone had filled the hole and put up a sign.
Don't ever dig holes under this fence.
In spite of that, the 5 little puppies dug a hole under the fence and went for a walk in the wide, wide world. When they got to the top of the hill, they counted themselves.
1, 2, 3, 4.
One little puppy wasn't there.
Now where in the world is that poky little puppy?
He certainly wasn't on top of the hill. He wasn't going down the other side. And he wasn't coming up this side. But there he was, near the bottom of the hill, looking hard at something.
What is he doing?
So down they went to see what he was doing.
What in the world are you doing?
I see something.
The 4 little puppies looked. There was a ripe red strawberry growing right there in the grass.
Strawberry shortcake!
And home they went as fast as they could go. And there, sure enough, was dinner waiting for them, with strawberry shortcake for dessert. But their mother said,
So you're the little puppies who dug that hole under the fence again. No strawberry shortcake for supper tonight.
and she made them go straight to bed. But the 4 little puppies waited till they thought she was asleep, and then they slipped out, they filled up the hole, and when they turned around, there was their mother watching them.
What good little puppies. Why don't you come and have some strawberry shortcake?
And this time, when the poky little puppy came poking home, he had to squeeze in through a tight, squeezy place in the fence. And there were his 4 brothers and sisters licking the last crumbs from their saucer. So the poky little puppy had to go poking off to bed without a single bit of shortcake. And he felt very, very sorry for himself. And the next morning, someone had put up a sign that read,
No more dessert if puppies ever dig holes under this fence again.
I'm eating again. So that was crazy. Those 4 puppies talking in unison, reminiscent of the 7 kids that we showed earlier this week. Wow, I got so many things to watch here. So many things to choose from. Let's watch Dinosaurs, the Terrible Lizards.
Encyclopedia Britannica Educational Corporation presents From Life on Earth, Dinosaurs, the Terrible Lizards. A moment from prehistoric time. A battle to the death between 2 great dinosaurs. A battle that took place more than 130 million years ago. They were the greatest land animals that ever lived. But why did they suddenly vanish after ruling the earth for 150 million years? How small were they? How large did they grow? Are there any alive today? These are just a few of the questions surrounding these fantastic animals. Join us as we unravel some of the mysteries of these incredible creatures from our past, these terrible lizards. Imagine a time when fiery volcanoes erupted into a prehistoric sky. The Earth's climate was wetter and warmer than it is today. Much of North America was still underwater. This was our world 225 million years ago at the beginning of the Mesozoic era, the age of reptiles. Reptiles owned the skies, the land, and the sea. And the greatest of all the reptiles were the dinosaurs. Many were small, a few were giants, such as the 12-ton Apatosaurus. Some of these strange beasts were protected by massive plates of bony armor. Dozens of species had crested, oddly shaped heads, the duckbills. And there was the terrifying Tyrannosaurus rex. The dinosaurs dominated the Earth for 150 million years. And then suddenly, about 70 million years ago, something went terribly wrong. Almost overnight, in geologic terms, the dinosaurs died. One by one, large and small, they vanished. A question that scientists are now trying to answer is, what animals are alive today that could be relatives or even descendants of the terrible lizards?
We're often asked if there are any living dinosaurs. The answer is a very definite no. We know all of the large animals on the surface of the Earth, and we know practically all of the large animals in the ocean today. There are no living dinosaurs, and their only living relatives are the crocodiles.
But are they? Some evidence suggests there may be many more.
From further back, we might even view the birds as distant relatives of the dinosaurs, inasmuch as birds and dinosaurs had a common ancestry towards the beginning of the age of reptiles.
One day, scientists may prove that every feathered animal alive is descended from some of the smaller types of dinosaurs. Birds are one class of the vertebrate branch of life on Earth today, those animals that have a spinal column or backbone supporting their skeletons. Some vertebrates adapted to life in the sky, others to life in the sea. There are thousands of species of fishes. Vertebrates such as salamanders and frogs are amphibians, living both on land and in the water. A highly specialized class is the mammals, warm-blooded animals that breastfeed their young. Finally, there are the reptiles. Today, this class contains about 6,000 species of lizards, snakes, crocodiles, and turtles. They are all that remain of the incredible variety of reptilian life that once existed, that once ruled the Earth.
The importance of the reptiles is that they were the dominant animals. They were the animals occupying the swamps, the highlands, and the air and the sea.
The oceans were filled with a large number of reptiles. Among them, the closest thing to a sea serpent that ever lived, the mosasaur. This was a gigantic sea-going lizard that ranged up to 12 meters in length. To adapt to their watery environment, they evolved flippers and a swimming tail fin instead of feet. Flying reptiles filled the skies. The pterodactyls.
This is a display and preparation of what is probably currently the most famous fossil bone on record. The object here is a replica of the upper arm bone from the wing of a flying reptile found in West Texas. And after careful study, it is clear that this bone represents the largest flying creature ever found.
The wingspan of this flying monster would have been about 15½ meters. Pterodactyls had a leathery skin instead of feathers. This tough skin stretched between the neck, wingtips, and legs, providing a large surface that enabled them to sail and glide across the land. We believe they were scavengers. Their long necks let them reach deep into the bodies of dead dinosaurs to feed, the way vultures do today. Flying reptiles ruled the air. Marine reptiles ruled the sea. But on the land, the greatest of all the reptiles, the dinosaur, was king.
Dinosaurs came in all shapes and sizes. The smallest ones were probably about the bulk of a turkey. This one here, an armored dinosaur known as Ankylosaurus, is about intermediate size. And then they range all the way up to these gigantic amphibious dinosaurs such as the Diplodocus. And Diplodocus was by no means the biggest of the dinosaurs. Another type known as Brachiosaurus was at least twice the size of the Diplodocus.
Duckbills were the most numerous of all dinosaurs. This was a rather small one. Others grew to 15 meters in length. These plant eaters or herbivores had as many as 2,000 teeth in their jaws at one time. 100 of these might actually be in use. The rest would be pushing outward to replace teeth that had worn away. The duck-billed dinosaurs lived and traveled in herds. You might call them the antelopes of the age of reptiles. They provided much of the menu for the carnivores, such as Tyrannosaurus rex. As tall as a 2-story building, he could kill almost anything that crossed his path. With massive jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth, Tyrannosaurus rex was a terrifying sight. Some dinosaurs developed protective armor to guard themselves from beasts like Tyrannosaurus rex. The most spectacular of these was Triceratops, a 10-ton monster. The huge shield covered its neck and throat, while its long, vicious horns could tear apart the body of an attacker. This armor-plated dinosaur is Stegosaurus. Triangular plates of bone protected his spine, and to defend himself, he had a clump of long spikes on the end of his tail. He could swing these spikes like a club to rip open the belly of an enemy. Stegosaurus had one of the smallest brains of all the dinosaurs. Its body was bigger than an elephant, its brain the size of a walnut. All dinosaurs had extremely small brains. Because of this, they are often thought of as unintelligent.
This is the brain case of a Diplodocus dinosaur, which fits in this skull in this position. This opening here corresponds to this opening. This edge corresponds to that edge. And so you can get from that a fairly graphic idea of just how small space was occupied by the brain of the dinosaur. When one comes to discuss intelligence, a matter of definition is necessarily involved. What constitutes intelligence? If survivability of a group of organisms has anything to do with intelligence, then I think that there's some food for thought in the fact that the dinosaurs, with their gigantic bodies and their tiny brains, survived on Earth for a period of 150 million years or so, whereas man, with his tiny body and gigantic brain, has been on Earth only 2 million years or so, and according to some, may be close to the end of his existence here.
The dinosaurs are dead. Yet in our imaginations, in books and in films, they are very much alive. They are strange, wonderful, and mysterious animals. In some ways, we know little about dinosaurs. One reason is that finding and restoring the bones of these monsters is a difficult, costly task.
This is the skeleton of a sauropod dinosaur, one of the giant amphibious dinosaurs that lived about 120 million years ago. This skeleton belongs to a species technically called Diplodocus, but perhaps more popularly known as a Brontosaurus. The name Brontosaurus means thunder lizard because the people who first described Brontosaurus suggested that it was so big that when it walked, the ground must have thundered. It's a very costly business nowadays to articulate a dinosaur, which explains probably why so few large specimens such as this Diplodocus at the Houston Museum have been assembled since World War II. Starting from scratch, a skeleton of this type today would cost $100,000 or more from the time it was discovered until it was finally installed for public view in the museum.
The search for dinosaur bones begins in a place like this, the mountains of western Colorado. Once, this was a broad, low-lying plain covered with tropical vegetation. Today, it has been raised 2,300 meters above sea level. As the Earth's crust was pushed up, erosion weathered away the rock, exposing long-buried fossils. This quarry has provided scientists with many dramatic fossil discoveries.
I found one of the world's largest land animals. It's a dinosaur that stood between 50 and 60 feet tall and probably weighed about 80 tons. We never dig until we see dinosaur bone coming out of the ground. Otherwise, we might dig forever and never find a bone. But to find a dinosaur bone or skeleton, one must walk a long ways, climb a lot of sweaty mountains, and go thirsty and be subjected to gnats and heat and that sort of thing. But when you find something like this, it may be something that's never been seen before. So it's an exciting pursuit.
This is the vertebrae right up next to the skull. The first one we found of this kind. Yeah, it's called the atlas axis.
For some members of Jim Jensen's crew, the quarry is also a classroom. The excitement of a dinosaur hunt brought Rod and Mike Sheets to this site. The two boys found their first fossils when they were on a family picnic. They were soon caught up in the world of dinosaurs.
I first started working in this quarry 3 years ago, and I worked in a certain area with my little brother, along with Dr. Jensen and his son. My last project I worked on in school was on dinosaurs in general, but right now I'm working in the quarry. At the same time I'm working on pterosaurs, pterodactyls, pteranodons, and I'm thinking of two things at the same time. Off work I'll imagine a pterosaur flying through the air, and yet also thinking about what I'm to do tomorrow in the quarry.
Once a dinosaur bone is found and uncovered, it is hardened with shellac. Then it is covered with tissue paper so plaster won't stick to it. A coat of plaster of Paris and burlap is applied, forming a protective jacket around the bone. The crew then digs down into the ground around it, deeply enough so that it can be turned over. Digging these bones out of the ground is a slow process.
Ready for it? Ready?
After the bone is turned over, the same procedure is followed. The bone is shellacked, tissue paper is applied, then the plaster jacket. Now, a stick or tree limb will be plastered in alongside the bone so that the entire block can be picked up by a chain or cable without damaging the specimens inside. The plaster blocks are then hauled to a museum laboratory. Using these methods, in the first year, Jim Jensen and his crew took 18 tons of rock and bone out of the Colorado quarry.
What do you see this block weighs? Oh, this block probably weighs about 200 or 300 pounds.
In a laboratory like this one in Austin, Texas, the bones are prepared for study. The first step is to cut away the plaster jacket. The bones are always surrounded by a rock matrix. This was originally mud or sand that covered the dinosaur when it died. It has become solid rock through countless centuries of pressure from layers of earth that built up over it. When the jacket has been removed, the matrix must be carefully chipped away. It is a slow process. Time seems to take on a different meaning for those scientists who work in the world of dinosaurs. Perhaps it is understandable. These bones have been buried in the earth for many millions of years.
Actually, the way this material is coming off of here, it won't take too long to work this bone out. Probably a month or so.
This is a reconstructed rib that will be installed on the Diplodocus skeleton. Fossil skeletons are never found complete. They're always missing bones, missing parts, parts that are crushed or broken to the point where they can't be used. And in instances of that type, we use a best estimate of what the missing part may have looked like and model it out of plastic or plaster or some such material.
Enough fragments of this rib were found so that the original bone could be mounted on the reconstructed skeleton. A hole is drilled through each of the pieces so that the supporting steel framework will be hidden from view.
Hey, all right. It's perfect. Good fit. Real good fit. Now we have about 16 more like it we have to make.
The rest of the objects which you see here are bones that have been largely reconstructed, completed, and are ready to assemble on the steel framework.
Every dinosaur skeleton presents its own special set of problems. By the time this Diplodocus was completely ready for public display in Houston, Texas, many years had passed. That time included all the scientists' work, discovering the specimen in the field, collecting it and preparing it in the laboratory, mending broken bones, reconstructing missing bones, building the huge steel framework, and finally assembling the skeleton. But when the last bone was put into place and the skeleton was complete, these men certainly felt a strong sense of accomplishment. They had brought back to life one of the greatest animals that ever walked the face of the earth. We have much to learn about the age of reptiles, but one thing we know for certain. About 70 million years ago, the flying reptiles, the marine reptiles, and the dinosaurs vanished from the earth, and there has never been anything quite like them since. Still, the biggest question of all surrounding the dinosaurs is why did they suddenly become extinct?
Organisms must be able to adapt to changing environmental conditions. The dinosaurs became extinct because some conditions in their environment changed and they were unable to adapt to the new conditions. We may not know what these changes were, but this is the ultimate explanation of extinction of all organisms.
When the dinosaurs died, a spectacular chapter in the history of life on Earth came to an end. Man is working to reconstruct that chapter word for word, to find out how the dinosaurs lived, where they lived, and why they disappeared. Someday we may unravel the mystery of why the dinosaurs became extinct. If we do, we may use that knowledge to prevent the extinction of another of nature's great experiments, man.
Unfortunately, we are finding out how the dinosaurs went extinct by mass extinctions taking place in our own lifetimes. Got to end on a better note than that. Put your hands on top of your head. Do that. Enjoy.
The most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. The most important person in the whole world, things you feel and do, 'cause you're the most important person in the world to you.
Okay, kids, here we go. Come on, do it along with me.
Put your hands on the top of your head.
Here's my head.
Your hair, then shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands in front of your eyes. Put your hands in front of your eyes.
No peeking.
In front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, then shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on the tip of your nose.
I can't reach
Put
it.
your hands on the tip of your nose. On the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, then shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on the bottom of your chin. Put your hands on the bottom of your chin.
Here's my chin.
On the bottom of your chin. On the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, then shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on your two broad shoulders. Put your hands on your two broad shoulders. On your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin. On the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands in your hair. Shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head.
Hey, this is
Put your
fun.
hands on your proud, proud chest. Put your hands on your proud, proud chest.
I got 'em.
On your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on your little waist. Put your hands on your little waist.
Oh, I'm ticklish.
Little waist, on your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, shake it in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on your hip, hip, hips. Put your hands on your hip, hip, hips.
Hip, hip, hips.
On your hip, hip, hips, on your little waist, on your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on your knobby knees. Put your hands on your knobby knees.
Where are my knees?
On
Where
your
are my
knobby
knees?
On your hip, hip, hips, on your little waist, on your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on your two big feet. Put your hands on your two big feet.
I can't reach
On
it.
your two big feet, on your knobby knees, on your hip, hip, hips, on your little waist, on your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands on your hair, shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on the top of your head.
Oh boy, that was fun.
One more time.
Oh no.
Put your hands on your two big feet. Put your hands on your two big feet. On your two big feet, on your knobby knees, on your hip, hip, hips, on your little waist, on your proud, proud chest, on your two broad shoulders, on the bottom of your chin, on the tip of your nose, in front of your eyes. Put your hands in your hair, shake 'em in the air. Put your hands on the top of your head. Put your hands on the top of your head.
Oh.
The most important person.
All right, there you go. What a great way to end it. Instead of thinking about mass extinction, we're thinking about putting our heads on our head. So that might be a good contender for the Toe Tapping Tournament 2023. Just as a reminder, you guys helped us vote for the top four, the final four. And we are going to be competing with Found Footage Festival next week. And then I think it's going to be premiered sometime next week. I'll try to get more information about it and let you guys know. But thanks for tuning in today. Very much appreciated. Like your comments. I dig that you guys dig what I show. That's really makes me feel good. Makes me feel like all that work and all that money spent on this collection is good. I mean, that's not why I did it, so I could make friends. But yeah, maybe. Who knows? But thank you so much. And one way that you can say you're welcome is to hit the thumbs up button or the like button. Even if you've done it in the past, don't be afraid to do it again. You can also buy us coffee at ko-fi.com/avgeeks. Yeah. So, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. And we will see you soon. Take care.